Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up, some special guests here in the studio with some apparatus you're not going to believe that we actually have things like that technology-wise, but we're going to show you right after the weather. Our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Run by and check them out for all the vocational needs. And don't forget that safe boating class starts next week also. Don't get a chance to go check it out. Also, the temperature today is going to be up to 70. We've got a lot of rain all around us, so be aware of that. Drive safely. The road's really wet. Low tonight 50. It's an even number, 50 to 70. But be careful out there on those rain-slick roads. The water temperature has gone up another degree. It's at 61 degrees now. This time last week it was at 58. 3 degrees in 1 week is a really big jump. I think we talked about that before. Let's take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola at Bluntstown this morning is reading at 17.6. It has a slight drop to it, but the weekend is going to be still high. 17 foot is high on the river, so be aware of that, but watch out for floating debris. Now take a look at the Choctawhatchee at Caryville. It is at 10.4, and both of them have a slight drop to it. Again, that's high for the Choctawhatchee, so be aware of that. Now that's brought to us by Watson's Landing Marina and Dry Storage, our river readings there. Now let's take a look at our tide chart, brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery right here on 23rd Street. Their motto is when carrying counts. We're looking at a good tide today, a low tide this morning at 426. And today's February 3rd, and a high tide at 5:51 this afternoon. So good situation there. For the weekend, looking good now. It's going to get this rain's going to get on out of here Saturday. Friday's going to be sunny, and Saturday's going to be partly cloudy. It'll call them maybe a little bit of rain for Wednesday, but for Sunday. But today it looks good today after the rain gets out here. All right, let's take our marine forecast coming out of the north at about 8 miles an hour. So take a break, and we'll be right back with our guest. All right, welcome back. Our special guest this morning, Gerald Nelson. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good to see you. Captain Rick Corley.
Good morning.
Captain Rick. We got one familiar face and one guest, and we want to get in. A lot of y'all probably recognize Gerald Nelson. He's the one that's been on TV and all, and been out salvaging these boats on his own free time and all. And but we're going to start from the very beginning. Gerald, tell us how did you get into the boat business?
I wanted to go fishing and I bought the wrong type of boat.
How many people out there can say that? You want to go fishing, bought the wrong boat? A lot of folks. So what happened?
Well, I bought the wrong boat, and I looked through the paper, and I saw another boat for sale at the boatyard. So I went to that boatyard and looked at this boat and started talking to some of the owners there, and they were talking about some of the boats that they had that were just abandoned there at the boatyard, and if I'd be interested in helping them get rid of them. I had done aircraft salvage work before, so I didn't think there'd be much of a difference of swapping them over. So yeah. I got rid of about 15 boats over at a boatyard, and one thing led to another.
So you just sort of rolling on, kept on rolling on. I
had removed the boat, and FWC gave me a call and had seen what we had done, and he's like, "Would you be interested in helping us?" And I'm like, "Didn't have a problem."
Well, that is so interesting because you've helped so many people now. But I want to get this question answered before we get in further because I'll forget it later. Did you ever get you a good fishing boat? Do you have a good fishing boat now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we want to get that squared away. You got a good fishing boat now.
Yes, I do. Thanks to Captain Rick.
Rick, we always talk about these derelict vessels. How in the world they become derelict?
Well, you have people that come down here, and back in '06, I went around and made a DVD that showed all this.
I remember that.
And I showed it to all of the elected officials, but since boats don't vote, they weren't too interested. But they compound. What happens is there's no law against coming and anchoring a boat. You don't have to have it insured or anything. And what happens is they're off up in the northern state here somewhere. They come down here, they use it as a dockside condo or an anchored out condo. And there's no rent, there's no nothing, and the boat sits there. And after a few years under its own devices, it'll sink. I mean, you're in a hostile environment, salt water and the sun and everything. And So these boats either get washed up on the beach because sometimes they're just anchored with 2 concrete blocks and enough line to hold it for a while.
That's a homemade anchor.
Oh yeah, but it's done. You know, they leave them, and then when they sink, when they go to him, say, "Oh, I sold the boat." He doesn't claim it because he knows he's going to be in trouble. So he just says, "You know, I sold the boat to this guy." Well, who is it? Well, I don't remember. You know, I just sold him the boat. He's got it now. I don't know. You know, they plead ignorance. Well, the thing is, as long as it's not moving, they can let the state registration expire. Well, how you gonna prove that he still owns the boat? He didn't renew it. That was the last owner, and he may have been it, but somebody else could own the boat, literally. So that's a lot of how it's done. And what I was trying to do, and Gerald's been more successful at it than I was, is make people aware that we need. I don't like government having to get into stuff, but this is why it forces you to sometimes to say, hey, no, if you're going to stay here more than 4 days, you ought to show proof of insurance, and or something of that nature. So when the boat sinks, there's money to get it out of the water. Because you remember when we had all those hurricanes that crisscrossed the state that one year? Well, the way it works is you get the boat out, whatever municipality or county or whatever, and then the state reimburses you for that. Except there's no money in those coffers because it's all been used up and it wasn't replenished. So there's no money, nothing happens. And that's why we wound up with, I guess, at one time there was about 42 boats around the Bay Area here sitting on the hill.
Well, all the base systems, we're talking about St. Andrew Bay, all the base systems throughout the Panhandle and the state, they all have the same problem?
They do. They really do, yes.
And how do they handle it?
Key West has a worse problem than we do.
Key West does. Wow.
They have over 400 derelict boats.
400?
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
But now they have a private contractor down who is doing probably about 60 boats a year.
Wow.
So they're really select on which boats they take out of the water, which ones they don't.
Okay. And they salvage some of them, or it's sort of hard?
I don't really know how they work their operation. I know everything that we did here basically was to crush them up, remove everything that couldn't go to the landfill, and send them to the dump.
Okay.
The bad part about all of that is the holding tank, the fuel, all that, if that boat sinks, gets in the water.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where I get a little upset with the environmentalists. They're all worried about stuff, but this is going on. This is worse than what they're worried about.
Yeah, and so many people don't know about it, too.
That's right. Well, they don't get out on the water like we do just about every day. I'm out there somewhere, and I see them, and I make mental. In fact, I've told them where some of them are as I find them. Yes, because I know what he's doing, and what he's doing is very commendable.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break and come back and show you some of the gadgets he uses to find these boats. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with Gerald Nelson, salvager extraordinaire, and Captain Rick Corler, and we're talking about getting these derelict boats out, and it's not really easy to do. I mean, you see them out there, and you don't just pick them up and haul them off, right?
That's correct.
But tell us about this. This is fascinating. Tell us about this.
This is a Video Ray Pro 3. It has a forward and aft camera. It has a sonar built into it, GPS holding. It can go up to about 1,000 foot. It's tethered. It can be controlled from
all remote control.
All remote controlled. And this allows us to put this into the water. We can check all the hulls and stuff like that without having to put a diver in the water.
That saves a lot of work, don't it?
That, and it saves a lot of.
Now, how much a toy like this cost?
$89,000.
Say that again?
$89,000.
I'll get on my birthday next month. Now, I want one of these. That'll be fun to pick with that. Okay.
Well, the beauty of this is it can stay down as long as it's necessary, where a diver's limited, and the other is you're not putting a human in jeopardy in any way. So there's some good points to it.
When you go into a wreck or something like that, if you have to use a conventional diver, I mean, that diver can get stuck inside the wreck and something could fall on him.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen is you lose your ROV.
Yeah, yeah. and not the person.
Not the
That's
person.
important. This is a little trivia question, but you know, when the boat sinks and all, is it the stern? Is it always set up with the bow and the stern down, or are they all kind of different angles?
It can be anything.
Upside
If
down,
you've ever seen the
sideways.
Titanic, which we pulled, I used to pull a 32-foot long version of this behind the research ship was doing, and I've actually got to see the Titanic, and half of it's laying upside down, half of it's laying right side up, and it's quite a bit of distance between the two. There's no rhyme or reason what happens. It's the currents and the time going to the bottom and so on.
So once it's located and you've scanned it and you've gone around it and seen all kinds of things, and what's your next step? What do you try to do when you get ready to get it up? What are some different techniques and all? Or?
Depends on what made it go down. Believe it or not, most of the boats that sink out here are due to rainwater. People don't keep their bilge pumps running. Like Captain Rick said, they buy them as a condo, then they go out of state and they just leave them abandoned here. And rainwater, and then of course thieves. High Noon, which was set over in Smack Bayou for almost 2.5 years, was a 41-foot Troy Lee. And it was a beautiful boat until somebody stole the hatches off of it. And then rainwater got in it and flooded the boat, and over she went. So.
And you got to remember, bilge pumps are designed to handle seepage, condensation, and stuff like that, not real heavy influx of water. And even though it'll keep up for a while, the batteries, they're designed to where it runs for a while, and then when it's off, it's recharging.
Right.
Well, if it don't ever cut off, you'll eventually overrun the battery power to the point that it'll pull it down to nothing, even on shore power, and she's gonna sink.
We've been successful on most of the boats that we bring up. We patch some of the holes in, but the process that works the best for us is we pump out more water than can pump into it.
That's the basic.
That's the theory. Pump out more water than can pour into it, it will come up.
It goes back to the old adage, you got to get that bucket moving, fast as you can.
That's
Yes,
it.
sir. Absolutely. A scared man with a 5-gallon bucket can move a lot of water.
Now, does this go, when you go all the way around the boat with this and you go up and down and everything, and you use aim it wherever you want to, right?
I can put it in any position. It can hold that position. I can read the hull numbers.
Yeah.
I can read the identification on it. It makes it pretty good. You didn't even see if the seacocks have been open on the boat.
Wow.
It's a lot of diverse uses for something like this. For example, sometimes in some areas you wouldn't want a diver in the water
What's
to
the
look for
value?
a body or something of that nature, but this could go there. Sometimes you get contaminants in the water so bad that, or you could even have electricity in the water that you wouldn't want a diver to try to go in, but this you could probably get away with.
Well, one of the first questions I asked him earlier, have you seen a fish out of here? So you can really check out some good fishing spots, I guess. That's an expensive way to do it.
We're talking. I'm talking with Alan with zoning and planning, and talking about later on using it on the artificial reef out there, where they can monitor, check some of their artificial reefs they put out there, and just to get better familiar with how this thing really works.
That'd be interesting. Mexico Beach and all, some of the reefs and all down there. It'd be fascinating to do, and it would help on the studies. And again, that's the same thing about not getting a body in the water. You can just get a lot of it down there. Now, you chose McKenzie Boat Ramp, right, to bring the derelicts out, and that really ended up a good location because you were able to stack them up on the side. And
it was closer to the dump.
Yeah.
And plus our shop is on McKenzie, so
when they brought them out, I went down and shot some video and all, and they just ended up crushing them. Is that what happened when y'all brought them
we
out?
brought an excavator in, and the excavator crushed the boats and put them on the dumpsters and dump trucks, and they hauled them to the dump. I was at the meeting yesterday, and I think they said the total tonnage was like 42,000 pounds is what we hauled out.
42,000 pounds.
That's 21 tons.
Wow, out of our base system. That's amazing. We still got more out there.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day that we have bad weather, rain, the potential of losing a sailboat.
And in reality, as we look around the state of Florida, our bay system is not as populated as the Biscayne bays and all that. So you can imagine what the problem is statewide.
Oh, Key West is terrible. Key West has got 400 boats.
It is.
Well, I know one of the things everybody in the community appreciate you doing this on your own time and your own money. We certainly appreciate you doing this. And,
We did. That was a joint venture with Bay County and FWC. We're not doing that this year. We're actually working this year, but we're always there if the need arises in certain circumstances. Somebody has a boat out there that they truly can't take care of and don't have the means to take care of it. We will help if they ask.
Yeah.
It's the bad part is most boaters are very responsible people. It's a few that are irresponsible.
Like
And
anything.
it sounds like, you know, we've gotten what, 40, did you say 42 out of the bay so far?
No, I've only pulled 12 out.
12.
12.
Okay, but we've had
total.
about, I counted
We got-
42 at one time.
We got 30 right now at risk,
Yeah.
and there's 3 that sunk now since we.
When you say
Finish.
30 at risk, do we know the owners and all? Or the situation like you said? It just-
The FWC knows who the last registered owner is.
That's it.
Well, could you not get them before they sank? Could you, I mean,
Well, that's the thing. You know, we're trying to get the county to adopt some type of ordinance that would allow us to intervene if once it becomes at risk. You know, it's cheaper to take and hook to the boat and tow it away than it is to put something like this in the water and have to spend man hours and pumps to pump them out.
well, you think about, you know, the salvaging, they're still usable. I mean, they still about to do something at that point in time.
And if they don't want to claim the boat, you said fine, then we can take possession of it in the county and fix it and sell it.
And what'd be good, you auction it off, and sometimes you can give that money to a charity or boys
Or
club,
do some more boats if
marine,
they get in trouble and that kind of thing. Yeah.
That make a lot of sense. So y'all working on that ordinance, trying to get that passed?
Trying to get it wrote up. We're trying to get it in a way to where if you let your boat sink out there, you don't take care of it, and FWC finds you, they'll suspend your driver's license and any other boat registration that you have.
That is good. That is good.
Well, you know, right
if
now.
it's registered in your name, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Now, welcome back. Let's look at our fish and game forecast today, brought to us by Mark Coward, Accounts Real Estate. Our time this morning, we're looking at 7:32 to 9:32. Take your umbrella with you, and tonight we're looking 7:57 to 9:57. All right. Let's get before we get back with Gerald, a couple of things we're going to go over. Rick, you got something right there real quick.
Yeah, I've got a fellow, J.W. Holden, writes a book called Jedediah Cole, Frontier Scout. It's a pretty good book. It's local, and it's about, you know, during the Revolutionary War when the country was becoming a country, and it's kind of well written. I've enjoyed it. It's about a guy that his family gets kidnapped by the British while he was helping another friend track down his children, and it goes into why and how things happen, and it's pretty good. It's called A Desperate Search.
Okay, where can they find that book?
I think you can get it on Amazon, and locally. I'm sorry, I don't know if it'll
Probably
call
local
me. I can
bookstore
find, yeah,
around
some of the
town.
local
Yep.
bookstores I'm sure have it.
All right.
But he's the guy that wrote it is originally from Apalachicola, lives here now.
There you go.
And,
Local
he's-
author,
yeah.
so he's probably done a lot of good research. All right, a couple of quick announcements here. We've got some hunter safety courses coming up. Looking on the screen there, Santa Rosa County, Jefferson County, Gaston County, and Franklin County. Those are your dates there, and I'll certainly go over them again, but just go ahead and jot them down, put them on your calendar if someone in your family needs to take care of that hunter safety course, and we'll talk more about it. Also, this is the Florida Forestry Teachers Tour. I went on this last year, folks. A wonderful opportunity. Some of you teachers out there, Brian Revere, I know you principal there at Vernon, send one of your teachers on this. It's all paid for, and it's a really, really good. You learn all about the forest and get to share it with all kind of kids and all. Fascinating. I'm going to show this book one more time because this is an anomaly. This buck, again, this is that big buck from Tyndall. It's going to be a legendary buck. They estimate it to be 6 years old, so it's right, and it had been seen for 4 years by all kind of people. Ryan Neese, one of our former kids up there at Mosley, he got to take this buck, and it took him 18 hours to track it down. All right, let's go to the boat ramp here, Gerald. This is we'll talk about where you brought these boats out. This is, of course, this is Southport here, and then I'm going to zoom in to the McKenzie boat ramp right in here.
Yep.
Okay, so y'all were able to get them into this area here.
Yes, sir. My shop's right down the road up at the corner.
Okay. And so the biggest thing, I guess, once they got them out, were they able to crush them okay like that? And
Yeah, that excavator would tear it apart in a matter of minutes.
amazing what machinery can do.
Oh, it was awesome.
We've got a couple minutes left. So what's in the future now? The summer's coming up, spring and summer coming up. What's your plans?
Well, we're a regular salvage company, so I mean we're still, we're for hire.
Okay. Well, what's the name of it?
Southern Marine Services.
Southern Marine Services. So if somebody needs something salvaged, they can give you a call.
They can give us a call.
And what's your number?
850-238-5528.
And you can send that camera down and look at it, whatever.
We can look at it. We can find it. We've got there's even a gripper for the ROV. If you lose your ring, we can retrieve it.
Oh, you know what? That's a great point because that happens a lot. People losing stuff.
It does. A friend of mine, Dale, with Stem Discern, searched for a ring over in Masalina Bayou for a lady.
Yeah?
And it took him about 2 hours conventionally to find it diving, where a sonar on a ROV would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, you can find it a lot quicker.
A lot quicker.
Y'all remember that now. That's interesting. Rick, what about what you got coming up?
7 barges and 6 commercial boats right off and a couple of yachts already scheduled for this month. We're turning and burning right now.
Y'all staying busy.
Yeah.
Well, in closing, we're talking about the problem with salvage. There's a lot of people. They're dangerous. I mean, if you don't get them salvaged.
If you don't do it right, you can do more damage. And the other thing is you can get somebody hurt.
Well, and especially if they fall off in a channel or something, and I know it's become a hazard. I guess the FWC is the one responsible as a government agency. If you report, I'm talking about if our folks see one, they need to report it.
Yeah, the FWC.
Call the FWC and
call them, and they'll start an investigation on it.
Okay.
And then the Coast Guard, if it's anything in the shipping channel, something like that, then the Coast Guard.
Okay.
If it's commercial, usually the Coast Guard handles it. If it's pleasure, usually it's FWC. But they work pretty closely together, and
all right.
like I say, it's
all right.
Be commendable.
We're trying to get them cleaned up as soon as we can before hurricane season gets here.
Yeah, before hurricane season, I'll be all over the place.
It'll be everywhere.
Thank you so much, Gerald. Good to see you. All right, Rick, I'll see you next time, buddy.
Good morning.
Thank you, folks, for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Appreciate the viewership. You do something good for your fellow man today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.